There's a time of day when your heart is more vulnerable than at any other. And no, it's not during the most intense exercise or in the middle of an argument. It's a time we all associate with peace, with rest, right after dinner. Every night, millions of people, especially those over 55, make a mistake that seems harmless. They think they're resting, but in reality, they're setting off a ticking time bomb in their chest. They're forcing their heart to work twice as hard in silence while they sleep. A rhythm it's not designed for at night. I'm Dr. Fernando, a cardiologist, and I've dedicated my life to understanding why heart attacks happen and, more importantly, how to prevent them. Today, I'm not going to talk about complicated theories or surgeries. I'm here to reveal this almost universal nighttime habit that science has shown to significantly increase the risk of a cardiovascular event, and I'll show you how you can avoid it with one simple change tonight. What I'm about to share isn't just a simple recommendation. It's a warning that could literally save your life. Stay with me because understanding this is more important than any medication you could ever take. Throughout my years as a doctor, I've seen countless patients arrive in the emergency room with a heart attack or stroke that occurred during the night. Devastated families wondering, how is this possible if they went to sleep perfectly fine? The answer in an alarming number of cases isn't genetics or a spike in stress. It's hidden in the most common routine of all, dinner. You see, our body is an incredibly precise machine governed by internal rhythms that have been perfected over thousands of years, the famous circadian rhythms. During the day, the body is in active mode, metabolism is fast, digestion is efficient, and the heart is ready to pump powerfully. But when the sun sets, our body initiates a completely different protocol, repair and rest mode. Melatonin levels rise, body temperature drops, blood pressure should decrease, and the heart rate should slow down. It's the turn of the nighttime maintenance team that repairs cells, consolidates memories, and, above all, gives a well-deserved rest to the hardest working muscle of all, the heart. The problem, the fatal error I'm talking about, occurs when we sabotage this process. It's as if we give our body two contradictory orders at the same time. Get ready for bed, and here's a full dinner to digest right now. This creates real physiological chaos. The digestive system demands a huge flow of blood and energy to break down the food. To provide it, the heart can't slow down. On the contrary, it's forced to keep pumping hard. Blood pressure, which should drop between 10% and 20% during sleep, what we call nighttime dipping, remains high or even rises. Your body, instead of calming down, enters an internal battle, a battle that night after night, wears down your arteries, overloads your heart, and sets the stage for a catastrophe. After age 55, this conflict becomes even more dangerous. With age, our digestion naturally slows down. At the same time, the cardiovascular system also ages, with stiffer arteries that already make the heart work harder. When you combine slower digestion with a less resilient cardiovascular system, the result is a perfect storm. The heart not only works over time, but it does so under much more difficult conditions. This chronic nighttime overload is one of the most underestimated and dangerous risk factors. And it all starts with that simple act of eating dinner and going to bed shortly after. The main mistake, the silent crime against your heart. Imagine your body is a large city. During the day, the city is bustling. Factories are running, your organs are working at full capacity, and the powerhouse, your heart, is pumping at maximum capacity. At nightfall, the city prepares to shut down. Now, what would happen if, just as the maintenance crews were about to start, a convoy of heavy trucks arrived, a large dinner, and demanded to be unloaded immediately? It would be chaos. Traffic would return, the lights would come on, and the maintenance crews wouldn't be able to work. That's exactly what happens to your body when you eat a large dinner and lie down immediately. The simple act of lying flat on a full stomach is already a problem. Gravity stops helping to keep the food in place, and the pressure inside your abdomen increases. This pressure not only pushes food and acid up into the esophagus, causing reflux, but it also physically presses on the diaphragm. By pushing the diaphragm upward, it reduces the space in the chest. Your lungs don't expand properly, and even worse, the space where your heart is located is compressed. Your heart is already working overtime for digestion. Now you have to do it in a smaller space and against greater resistance. It's like trying to run a marathon while someone is squeezing your chest. This scenario triggers a cascade of consequences. The first is acid reflux. It's not just heartburn. The sharp chest pain can mimic a heart attack. But the most dangerous thing is that the Chronic irritation of the esophagus can send nerve signals that disrupt the heart rhythm, potentially leading to arrhythmias. The second, more silent effect is nocturnal hypertension. As I mentioned, your blood pressure should drop at night. If the body is busy digesting, this doesn't happen. This condition is known as the non-dipogo-cardiovascular pattern. Studies show that people whose blood pressure doesn't drop at night have a much higher risk of heart attacks and strokes. Every night you go to bed with a full stomach, you're subjecting your arteries to hours of relentless pressure. Finally, there's the direct overload on your heart. The heart needs nighttime rest to recover. Forcing it to work intensely during the night deprives it of that vital rest. Over time, this can lead to a thickening of the heart muscle, a condition that makes it less efficient and more prone to failure. Consider Carlos, a 62-year-old patient of mine, an active man with no known heart problems who suffered a massive heart attack at 3 a.m. His wife told me about his routine. He came home late, ate a large dinner around 10 p.m., and went to bed at 10:30 p.m. Night after night, unknowingly, Carlos was fighting a losing battle. His heart attack wasn't a surprise, it was a consequence. The good news is that the solution is surprisingly simple. It's called the 3-hour rule. The recommendation, backed by a growing body of research, is to leave at least 3 hours between your last substantial meal and bedtime. This isn't a random number. It's the approximate time your stomach needs to do most of its work. By following this rule, by the time you go to bed, heavy digestion will be over. The pressure in your abdomen will be normal, and your heart will finally be able to enter resting mode. Your blood pressure will drop as it should, and your cardiovascular system will get the rest it needs. Implementing this rule may mean eating dinner earlier. If you eat dinner at 9 p.m. and go to bed at 11 p.m., try eating dinner at 8 p.m. or, better yet, 7 p.m. A study in Nature Communications found that eating dinner late after 9 p.m. was associated with a 28% increased risk of cerebrovascular diseases such as stroke compared to eating dinner before 8 p.m. and if that's impossible, 3 hours earlier. In that case, change what you eat. If you must eat late, make it an extremely light meal: grilled chicken breast, fish with steamed vegetables, a light soup, or yogurt. Avoid dense carbohydrates, bread, pasta, rice, fats, and fried foods at all costs. The key is to minimize the workload on your digestive system right before bed. Mistake 2. The poison on your plate, the threat of nighttime ultra-processed foods. It's not just the time that matters, but what you put on your plate. And here comes one of the biggest villains of modern health: ultra-processed foods. Think ready-made meals, frozen pizzas, processed meats, industrial cookies, and soft drinks. These products are designed to be irresistible and addictive, using combinations of salt, sugar, unhealthy fats, and additives. When you consume them, especially at night, you're not only creating a conflict between digestion and rest, you're declaring an inflammatory war within your body. These products cause sharp spikes in blood sugar, followed by a surge of insulin, but the real damage comes from the chronic inflammation they generate. Additives, trans fats, and excess sugar and salt promote an inflammatory response throughout the body, and especially in the delicate lining of your arteries, the endothelium. Imagine the lining of your arteries as a smooth, non-stick Teflon surface. Chronic inflammation is like scratching that surface with a steel wool pad. It makes it rough, sticky, and dysfunctional. On this damaged surface, bad cholesterol sticks and begins to form atherosclerotic plaque. It's like limescale in a pipe. It slowly narrows the space, hardens the artery, and makes it difficult for blood to flow. The statistics are chilling. Important studies, such as one published in the prestigious journal BMJ, have found that those who consume the most of these products may have up to a 50% higher risk of death from cardiovascular disease. When you eat these foods at night, the effect is amplified. Your body is less efficient at handling glucose spikes and inflammation. That frozen pizza at 9:30 p.m. is a direct attack on your arteries. The solution is to go back to basics. Your dinner should be real food. The plate structure is simple. Half your plate, vegetables, broccoli, spinach, peppers, salads. They are rich in fiber and antioxidants. A quarter of your plate, quality protein, chicken, turkey, fish, eggs, or lentils. Protein is satiating and has a smaller impact on blood sugar. A quarter of your plate, in moderation, complex carbohydrates, a small portion of quinoa, sweet potato, or brown rice. Cook simply, grill, steam, or bake. Use extra virgin olive oil and spices instead of processed sauces. This way of eating is not only easier to digest, but it actively fights inflammation and protects your arteries. Mistake 3, the false friend, the deception of alcohol. Before bed, many people reach for a glass of wine or a beer to relax before sleeping. And although alcohol may make you drowsy at first, the reality is that it's one of the worst things you can do for your heart at night. Alcohol is a depressant of the nervous system, which is why it relaxes us. But for the cardiovascular system, it's a stimulant. Even a single drink can increase your heart rate. Instead of slowing down to rest, your heart races. Furthermore, while the body metabolizes the alcohol, a rebound effect occurs. The nervous system becomes hyperactive, causing awakenings in the second half of the night and fragmenting sleep. Poor sleep quality is itself a risk factor for hypertension. This state of nocturnal cardiac stimulation can be very serious. There's a so-called party heart syndrome, which is the onset of arrhythmias like atrial fibrillation, AF, after consuming alcohol, even in healthy individuals. AF is an irregular and rapid heart rhythm that can form clots that can travel to the brain and cause a stroke. The risk is greater with excessive consumption, but it can occur even with moderate and regular consumption. Elena, another 58-year-old patient, enjoyed 2 glasses of wine with her late dinner to unwind. She began waking up with her heart racing and in a panic. After 24-hour monitoring, we discovered that she was suffering from episodes of atrial fibrillation that coincided with the nights she drank. The wine that she thought relaxed her was actually poisoning her heart rhythm. The solution is clear: avoid alcohol, especially before bed. If you are going to drink, do so in moderation and well before bedtime, never as a sleep aid. What can you drink instead? Caffeine-free herbal teas. Chamomile, valerian, or lemon balm are known for their natural calming properties. A cup of chamomile tea an hour before bed is not only comforting, but it also helps your body prepare for rest instead of sabotaging it. Mistake 4, the oxygen thief, ignoring sleep apnea. There is another nighttime saboteur, one that often goes unnoticed: obstructive sleep apnea. Sleep apnea is a disorder in which breathing stops and starts repeatedly during sleep. The throat muscles relax and block the airway. This can happen hundreds of times a night. The person suffering from it is usually unaware. It is the partner who hears loud snores followed by an unsettling silence and then gasping. Each time breathing stops, the blood oxygen level plummets. The brain panics and releases a surge of stress hormones, like adrenaline, to force the body to wake up enough to breathe again. This physiological roller coaster is catastrophic for the heart. Adrenaline causes a sharp increase in blood pressure and heart rate. Night after night, this intermittent breathing asphyxiation causes immense damage. Sleep apnea is strongly linked to difficult-to-control hypertension, heart attacks, and strokes. In fact, the connection is so strong that some studies suggest that up to 70% of patients who suffer a heart attack during the night had sleep apnea without knowing it. Apnea turns the night into a battleground for survival. The solution begins with recognition. If you or your partner suspect you may have sleep apnea, loud snoring, pauses in breathing, or extreme daytime sleepiness, it is crucial to talk to your doctor. Don't dismiss it as just snoring. Your doctor will likely recommend a sleep study. The most common and effective treatment is CPAP, a mask that delivers a constant flow of air to keep your airways open. The benefits are transformative: better sleep, more energy, and most importantly, a drastic reduction in heart risk. Mistake 5, the blue light trap, the switch that turns off your cardiovascular protection. The last mistake is the most modern of all: exposure to blue light from screens after dinner. I'm referring to the light from televisions, tablets, and especially our phones. Our brains evolved to interpret blue light as a clear signal. It's daytime. Stay awake. Our biological clock uses the absence of blue light as the signal to start producing melatonin, the hormone that orchestrates sleep and nighttime repair. When you sit on the couch after dinner looking at your phone, you're confusing your brain. It tells it it's daytime, and the brain responds by suppressing melatonin production. But melatonin isn't just the sleep hormone. It's a powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory that helps regulate cardiovascular health, lowers blood pressure at night, and protects the heart. Suppressing it not only leads to poorer sleep, but also deprives the heart of this protection. Blood pressure doesn't drop as it should, and the cardiovascular system remains in a state of daytime alert. This chronic imbalance contributes to hypertension and a pro-inflammatory state, creating conditions that increase the risk of heart attack. The solution requires discipline. Implement a digital curfew at least 90 minutes before bedtime. Turn off all screens. What to do instead? Read a physical book in warm light. Listen to relaxing music. Talk to your family. Take a warm shower. If using a screen is absolutely necessary, activate night mode or use blue light filters. By creating this period of darkness, you give your brain the right signal. It's time to repair. It will give your heart back the nighttime protection that modern life has stolen. Conclusion. Today, we've unmasked the dangerous mistake of eating a large dinner and going to bed immediately. We've seen how it's exacerbated by choosing ultra-processed foods, using alcohol as a false relaxant, ignoring sleep apnea, and tricking our brains with blue light. All these mistakes sabotage our heart's rest and nighttime repair. The most important message I want you to take away is that you have the power. Time is your greatest ally. The time you leave between dinner and sleep. The time you dedicate to choosing real food. The time you give yourself to disconnect from screens. Don't underestimate the power of these changes. They require awareness and the decision to prioritize your health, to work with your body's rhythms, not against them. The next time you sit down to dinner, remember this conversation. Think about your heart. Give it the gift of time. Give it the gift of a peaceful night. It's the best investment you'll ever make. If you've recognized any of these habits in your life, don't wait. Prevention is the most powerful medicine. I ask two simple things of you. First, if this video has been helpful, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss vital information like this. And second, and this is the most important thing, share this video. Think about your parents, your friends, your colleagues over 50. A simple click could take this information to someone who desperately needs it. It could start a conversation that saves a life. Now, I'd like to hear from you. Which of these mistakes do you recognize in your routine? What change are you committing to making starting tonight? Share your experience in the comments. Reading your stories helps us all. Take good care of yourself and your heart. Yeah,